Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? And welcome to the Focus on Greatness podcast. I am your host, Hiram Roche, also known as HR. Hey, listen, as always, I am truly thankful to be able to be here with you, my greatness tribe. And I want to dive right into this conversation. The other day, I was watching something. I love documentaries. That is, if you have been with me any length of time, you know that I love documentaries. I love it for so many various of different reasons. But the other day, I was watching this docu series that Netflix did, entitled Moses. Now, it was basically talking about the journey of Moses. It was talking about how this, basically his story and the legacy that basically we see through Moses's life throughout Scripture. It kind of gave us more of a deeper understanding of it. It wasn't just a story. It wasn't like just a movie, but it was also different contexts of theologians of different people that was in this video that was breaking down certain narratives according to the Hebrewic, the Jewish culture, and you had different people that was giving these insights. And I thought that it was a wonderful context. But in the midst of all of those things, they got to the point where the children of Israel were in the wilderness. And it talks about how they went through this time of where basically they were going in circles for years, right? We know the storyline about the children of Israel, and we understand what that was, right? We understand that they went through a journey of basically literally going through a circle of where really the destination that they were going to could have been like a couple days. You know what I'm saying? It didn't need to take as long as it did. But one of the guys made a statement in the video, and he gave this statement. His statement was the reason why they needed to go through this process as long as they needed to go through the process is because there was, in a nutshell, there were two things that was transpiring. One of the things that was transpiring was God was trying to reveal himself to the children of Israel so that they can be able to see and know him as God, right? He wanted them to be able to have this close relationship with him. And so he wanted to be able to show himself strong. I would use that word on their behalf. And so he wanted to do this, but there was another piece that this gentleman said that I thought stuck out to me that I wanted to communicate and talk with you about tonight. And that was, he said that the other reasoning of why God was taking them through this process as long as he did, because he was trying to get them to forget their past. He was trying to get them to get out of their system the things that they got while they were in Egypt, while they were being raised in that culture, while they were being, basically groomed in that culture. There were certain things he was trying to get them to forget, certain things he was trying to get out of their system. And it took them this time, not because it couldn't get out their system, but took them this time because some just didn't want to let it go. And some wanted to be able, it took a process for them to be able to develop. It took a process for them to push or get this stuff out of them, out of their system. I'll use that phrase. Then right after I watched that, not too long after I watched that, I was watching something on TikTok, and was scrolling like we all do. And while I was scrolling, a video came up, and it was a gentleman literally using the same exact verbiage about the children of Israel. And he used this context of scripture that I want to use for us. And it's in Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 through 19. And this is what it says. It says, "Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Know it now it shall spring forth. Ye shall know it not. Shall ye know it not? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." I want to read that again just for my sake. It says, "Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Now, the main thing that we were leaning on, and he was leaning on in his context, was verses 18. Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Now, in this context of scripture, we could break it down and we can really lay it out in some different forms to be able to get some understanding of what was going on and what was happening and all of those things. We could understand that, but I think the principle even is still the same in what I'm about to share with us tonight. Is he is letting them know that there are certain things that I need you not to remember. Remember ye not the former things. Don't get stuck on the things of your past. Now, this context of what he's dealing with is he's talking to a whole nother tribe of Israel, whole nother generation of people that are now in Babylonian coming, about to get delivered or coming out of Babylonian captivity. But he's using as a reference point what he did with the children of Israel when he delivered them through Moses out of Israel, out of Egypt. When he delivered them out of Egypt, taking them into the promised land, he uses this same context of remembering, of allowing them to understand that the same God that did that is the same God that's doing this. But I need you to understand the same principle applies. There are things that I needed them not to remember from the place they came out of. Now, here's what I felt to be able to share in this conversation on tonight with us. Is there are things that God, I believe, is allowing us to be able to see and to know and to recognize of what He's letting you know not to remember anymore. Now, what do I mean by not remember? What He's telling them not to remember, in a sense, is don't remember what you learned to worship under your bondage. You know, when you was still in your stuff, when you were still in your struggle, when you were still going through your thing, there are things that you learned. There are things that you started to worship. There were things that became your appetite. There were certain things that you gained or you learned or systems that you created underneath this bondage. And he's saying, listen, I'm about to bring you out of it. But before I can bring you into this new thing, before I can bring you into the thing you have not seen, the thing that you haven't even recognized before, the thing that I've never done to you before I can bring you into this new thing, I need you to not remember. Don't remember those things. Not just don't remember the God. I'm not talking about just that, because the God, I can take the God away, but I can't take the behavior. You are the one that has to work on the behavior. There's a certain thing, that system, mindset, behavior, context of things that you started to create and function in based upon what you just came out of. And there are certain things I'm saying, do not remember the former things. No, we don't do that in this season. No, we're not going to think like that in this new season. No, we're not going to accept that in this new season. No, there are certain things I need you just to forget. Let it go. Do not hold on to, because those things you cannot cross to the next with. Those things, that mindset, that behavior, that thing, that scenario, that situation, the way you approach stuff, the way you act towards things, the way you respond towards certain things, all of those pieces, that stuff, you can't do that over here. If you do it in the new season, you will affect the new season. I'm not saying that you're not going to still have some things you got to walk out. No, that's not what I'm saying. We're all walking in this journey of healing and developing and growing and going to our next. We understand that. We get that. We have heard the context of going to your next. But the reality is, sometimes we can't recognize the new season. Let's see what he says. Verse 19, behold, meaning you have to pay attention. This is not something that you have to focus in on this. If you're not focused in on it, that means you're still functioning by the old system. So behold, this is a revelation that I'm showing you. Behold, I will do, meaning future tense. I have not done it yet. This is something I'm about to do. I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Key word here, shall you not know it? Why won't you know it if it's springing forth? That means you're able to see it. If it's springing forth, if it's popping up, that means it's something that will be in front of your face and you'll be able to see exactly what I'm doing in this new season. But he's saying, shall you not know it? Why won't you know it? Because you're still remembering. You're still functioning by this old system. The old way you thought won't see the new thing he's doing. The old way you acted won't respond the way the new thing is coming at you. For example, let's use this for example. You're used to certain people approaching you a certain way to give you a gift. What if he changes the way he wants to approach you? What if he comes another way? What if the way he wants to pour into you is different than how he's poured into you in the past? But if you're still stuck on what the old system did, how you function back there, what you thought about back there, you will miss the whole moment. So he's saying to us, there are certain things you're going to have to just forget. You got to forget it. Now, are you not, now hear what I'm saying? I'm not saying forget that you went through it. I'm not saying act like these things didn't occur. I'm not saying act like the past wasn't the past. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is there are certain things that God is saying, I need you to not remember that. I don't need you to remember to act like that. I don't need you to remember to talk like that. I don't need you to remember to see like that. I don't need you to remember to hear like that because you heard like that because you was functioning in the last season in a survival mindset. You were functioning you were functioning in a bound mindset. So now in this new season I'm trying to walk you into is a free mindset. So you can't hear me the same way you heard me then because it's a whole nother change. It's a whole nother system. It's a whole nother behavior pattern that is required in this new season. So you got to forget how you heard before and learn anew. That's why he says, I love a child. I love people that are childlike because they're always in what we doing next. Oh, we're not doing that no more? Cool. What we doing now? They're not stuck on something because they didn't experience certain things yet. So what he's saying is, listen, you have to now, and this is the part that the scripture is not telling us. I'm just throwing this part in. This is how I'm talking at this point. This is how I'm putting this piece in. There are certain things that we have to be comfortable with starting over. You have to be comfortable learning how to see again. You're going to have to be comfortable learning how to hear again. You're going to have to be comfortable learning how to talk again. You're going to have to be comfortable learning how to respond again, walk again. There's a person that, let's think about a person that gets into a car accident, right? They get in a car accident, and because of this accident, let's just say they break a leg, right? Just let's throw out a number. They were 35 years old when they got into this car accident, right? They broke their leg. So that means they had 35 years. Let's just give them 30, 33 years, 34 years of where they have been walking. Now, because of this injury, now because of this situation, now because of something that might have been out of their control, now because of something that might have been in their control in the aspect of they wasn't paying attention, but they were the one that actually did the accident, right? No matter what the scenario is, at the end of the day, they are injured, their leg is broken, and now they have to go through a process of learning how to walk again. Because now, like it or not, the way that they walked before is not going to be the way that they walk now. Because Now they have to heal, and the way their leg will heal will change how they walk. You've been broken. You've been affected by life. You've been affected by situations. You've been hurt in different scenarios. You have went through whatever problems, trials, tribulations, things that you have went through and things that you have experienced. And he's saying, listen, I'm bringing you out of that situation. But while I'm bringing you out of that situation, you're going to have to be comfortable not remembering how you did it before. I need you to forget that. Because if you try to walk again, if you try to see again, if you try to listen again, if you try to speak again, if you try to function again with the same context of how you did it before, I promise you, you're going to be frustrated in this new season, because you're going to try to figure out, why doesn't the same mindset, why doesn't the same ears, why doesn't the same eyes, the same mouth, the same attitude, the same behavior, the same reactions, why doesn't this work? It worked before. It worked. It's been working for me. Why isn't it not working now? Because you're not in the same system. You're not in the same season. You're not in the same space. And this space don't use that. It don't use that way to listen. So God puts us in certain situations and certain circumstances so we can make adjustments to how he wants to speak to us in this season. God, through his word, God does not speak to everybody the same way. I'm sorry. God don't talk to everybody the same way. He uses certain methods to be able to speak to us as individuals. Now, yes, does he speak through his people over the pulpit when we're preaching, like hearing messages and different things like that? Yes, that's one way he can talk to you, but he can also talk to you in various different ways. It's not one-sided. He is not limited by your way of way you think he should talk to you. That means if he chooses to adjust how he wants to speak to you in this season. If he says that in this new season, I need you to see life different. Because reality is, the way that we see now is not the way we need to see going forward. Because the way we see is still not seeing through his eyes. So until we get to see like God sees, and hear like God hears, and speak like God speaks, and feel like God feels, and respond like God responds, and walk like God walks, the reality is we ain't made it yet. That means we are going to have to go through adjustments. And that means you're going to have to forget how you did it before, because it's not the requirement for the season you're walking in. So tonight, I'll read this again. Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 and 19. It says, remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Now, I do want to make this statement just for this last part before I wrap this up. It says, I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Here's two things that this statement is saying. I'm going to give you direction, way in the wilderness, and provision, rivers in the desert. I'm going to give you direction. I'm going to show you what to do. I'm going to walk with you through this journey. He is still our shepherd, and he leads his sheep. So he's going to give unto us direction. And in the same process, because we're walking into a season we've never been, we're walking into a place we've never experienced before, he's also saying, and I'm going to give provision. I'm going to provide for you in this new season. I'm going to provide. Now, I'm not just talking about I'm providing money. I'm providing insight. I'm providing wisdom. I'm providing protection. I'm providing the things you need for the journey you're on. But you won't see it with the old eyes. You won't hear it with the old ears. You won't be able to sense it with the old way you did this. You won't be able to walk in the direction I'm giving you if you're going to walk the same way you've been walking. There are certain things you're going to have to forget because you can't do this the same way. Reality is, a person that was married that then changes that category of being single, they go from married to then being single. It is certain things that they're going to have to let go. Because reality is, you wasn't doing everything by yourself. So you can't function in this season as if you're not, as if you still got somebody else in the house with you. You don't. You're by yourself. You're single. So you have to change and let go of the thought of having someone else in here, having this happen and having this go this way. There are certain adjustments and changes and things that you're going to have to let go because you're going to have to do it afresh and anew with a different mindset, a different way of seeing, a different way of hearing, different way of functioning, because he's doing a new thing. It's going to spring forth, but I want to make sure me and you can be able to see it when it happens. I love you all. And as always, thank you for watching, listening,